Hello. Sorry if the lighting is like, just realizing, but also who cares. I've been wanting to talk for a couple of days, but I haven't really known when to begin. So I pulled some cards and then it gave me some clarity. I figure I'll just speak because it's what I want to do. I feel like I start every video like that because I'm not making them consistently. There's like months or weeks between them. But yeah, we've just come out of a bunch of retrogrades. And well, I think just Saturn and Mercury. Neptune's probably going to stop sometime soon. I think next week. And Jupiter. I don't know when that's going to stop. Hopefully sometime. But I don't know about you. Anytime I start to say like, I don't know about you guys, I think of a comment that a comedian, Caleb Heron, was left when he's like plus size, fat. Like he calls himself fat. Like he's, you know, he's big. He's a big guy. I don't say any of those words derogatory. It's a part of the joke that someone left a comment, like a hate comment, being like, I don't know about you guys, but this man looks like he broke into a bakery and ate all the pies. I'm gonna kill you with a gun. Love it. If you haven't seen that, look up Caleb Heron broke into a bakery and ate off all the pies. He says it really funny. He's got a very funny tone and like characterization of the comment. It's very funny. Anyway, I truly don't know about everyone else. I have an inkling it'll be a familiar feeling because that's what happens with like universal energies and transits that affect everyone. I have this sense of like excitement and motivation and drive to do something and to like start putting my energy out somewhere and like to direct it somewhere, but I don't know where and I don't know how, and I'm not confident that it'll do anything good or it'll be good or it's worth my time. And I understand that all of those worries are like fear. Well, they're worry and they're fear, and that I shouldn't necessarily listen to that. Also, I'm worried that like all of the wind, I feel like wind is a part of it though. It's been so windy this week and everyone's heads are just kind of in that kind of space, and like it creates, I think it adds to the agitation. I don't know. But yeah, I feel this like polarity of like an adventure being before me and then this internalized agitation that I haven't quite been able to commit to. Or no, not agitation, but like this desire to not just act but like plan, like desire to like plan and intend something of my energy, for my energy, like all this stuff that's building up inside of me. And all of these like sensations that want to burst out but are also demanding safety in order to burst out, and I don't quite know what kind of safety they're wanting or what more safety they're wanting, because consciously I'm okay, but there seems to be either, it's one of two things: a fuck ton of fear that's just holding me back, or there's something that I just haven't noticed yet that I need to fulfill in order to move forward. But I've got an inkling because I pulled some cards before I started talking today, and what I pulled was the Fool reversed, Prince of Pentacles and the Moon, and then Judgment and Eight of Wands reversed. And what I'm kind of seeing is that it's probably option A. And I think I knew that. But I do have this sense of like optimism and adventure. It's also really cold. Well, that's why I'm kind of partially sitting in the sun, because I don't want to get completely burnt, but it's quite cold when you're in the shade. I have this sense or like yearning for adventure, and that like this sense of a new beginning. I don't know where, I don't know what it looks like, I don't even know what it is, but I know it's here or it's coming. And I think a part of like my challenge is trusting that and going with it without having to have safety and security and an assured plan mirrored in front of me in order to like trust that urge. Ooh, and the Eight of Wands just flipped up from the wind. Interesting. But it's really hard. It's hard when you have no idea what's happening and all you have to trust is a feeling. But I think I'm only perceiving it as hard because I've done this before and I've not been conscious. You know? I'm coming from being a person who's followed this feeling and followed this inkling and like been through this cycle just without instances of worry to roll through my head. What's coming up is like, since I don't know, there's the capacity for me to make the wrong choice. And if I choose to step out in one direction, that could mean that I lose something that I love. I'm fearing change. And like fear of failure. And like fear of like progressing in like the wrong way. Especially because in the past I've been motivated by my life falling apart, you know? I've been motivated by having to, or wanting to push this sense of adventure because it seems like the best way to go when what I'm leaving behind is like something that hasn't been working, or a life that doesn't feel fulfilling anymore, or, you know, like it feels like I'm leaving something behind that I'm meant to move on. And right now, everything is so lovely that I feel like moving is me leaving it. And I don't want to leave it. So there's a bit of grief there. And Lord knows I've processed enough grief. Well, you know what? No, I haven't, because it's still somewhat there. So I haven't processed all of it. But I feel as if, I don't know, my mind just keeps flicking back to August, which is now months and months away. Oof. I was processing a lot of grief in August. And I'm almost afraid of it. Because there's a correlation of like, and it's an obvious correlation of like grief meaning loss. Even if back then what I was grieving was loss that was far past its due date for needing to be processed. I feel like processing the grief or entering this new phase is me choosing to lose things. And as soon as I say that, I just get this like clench up in my whole body just clenches. Like I don't want to lose anything in my life at the moment. I don't want to lose anything. And as I'm saying that, I'm kind of looking down at the moon card. And when you're guided by your moon, when you're guided by your emotions, and I don't mean like all emotions, I mean more like fears, all you kind of see is this like limited perspective, which is what I'm noticing in my reflection at the moment, is that like I am viewing a new adventure as a loss when it doesn't need to be. I could very well like enter this new cycle, keep everything in my life and multiply and gain and expand. I just haven't been able to really recall when that's happened. I'm sure it has, but I'm struggling to recall like examples of it to like bolster my sense of confidence in that happening again, you know? I'm scared by my past experiences, and now I'm just realizing that I'm only calling in those fears, and I'm only calling in those past experiences, and that's gonna probably lead to them manifesting, unless I try to take some kind of power back in the situation. Give myself some hope. Give myself some sense of like optimism. I think I need courage. I'm needing some courage in this time, and I'm not sure where I can look to find it. Hello. Tiny little fly. There's nothing for you here. I'm sorry. Go away. Please go away. Yeah. Where do you find courage? I know like the answer is like in your heart, you know, you find it in a sense of like yourself, and kind of like I don't know, maybe examples of like fortitude and perseverance and fight that you have in yourself. But I suppose right now all I'm feeling is this like pull, like this push and pull. I'm not feeling so centered or so grounded that I can find it so easily. You know, like that whole like, you see what you are. And so right now I'm this like split, like confused, not super grounded energy at the moment. So then all I'm kind of able to reflect and back on and see are the other times in my life where I felt like this and where I felt really split and polarized and ungrounded. And that's probably just cycling me in this. But I know that there's been periods of my life where I felt really sure of myself. Like when I've just seen something and applied for it and started it. And sometimes I can just place myself in situations and go with the flow. And usually those situations are when I'm with people that I trust. And like people that like I feel like I can trust. And when my body has like given me a yes. I guess I also feel pretty rocked because like recently I had like two contrasting experiences. I had an experience where I like wanted to show up for myself and for someone to like because they were leaving. And right before I went to this like event thing, I got this sick feeling in my stomach, like this sickening kind of just a feeling that I could almost pass off as like, if I sat with it, it could make me feel like ill. And I had this moment of thinking like, ooh, should I stay home? And I didn't. And I went to this gathering, and I guess it was just full of people who I think differently to, or I live a different life too. And I ended that night feeling really different and like I had failed at something. You know, like I had failed at joining in the group, I had failed at being accepted, I had failed at communicating myself in a way that people found interesting or endearing or fun or funny. And then the very next night I experienced the polar opposite. It was interesting though, at the beginning of that night, at the beginning of the second night, I was so anxious, and I didn't put two and two together, but I was so anxious because of the experience that I'd had 24 hours before. Even though I was with people that, because I guess the first night I was with, I only knew one person, and then there were like a group of other people that I didn't know really well before. I'd met a couple of them once briefly, but this second night was with people that I see every single week, that know me and have known me for years. And then I usually feel so comfortable to be myself around. Ooh. And I spent like the first half hour being really anxious, like being really, really anxious. And I wasn't quite sure why in the moment, but now I do know why. But then the night progressed, and like, it was okay. It worked out. And I was safe, and I felt fulfilled. And that can happen. And I think my body's still reeling from processing that a little bit, because I felt a bit wiped. They happened like Thursday, Friday. It's Sunday today. Yesterday I felt just a little bit whiplashy and overwhelmed, and I was kind of processing and integrating those two experiences. And now I feel like I'm in this, like, I feel like some motor inside of me is just starting up, and potentially I'm still integrating everything. I want to act, but I'm scared. And my brain's finding every good reason for me to be scared. But I want to find the courage to overcome that, so I can start something. Because I feel like whatever is coming will be good. I feel like whatever's coming is good. Yeah, I actually do. I'm scared if I'm wrong about that. I'm scared I might be fooling myself again, but I'm not, because I'm not feeling a sick feeling. I'm not feeling a no. I don't feel like I'm ignoring myself in that way. I just feel like I'm shrinking myself out of prevention, where I want to be expanding into optimism. I think all of this is valid, and I guess that's why I'm sharing it. I think all of it's just, yeah, completely fucking valid. Because I get why I'm scared. Fuck, it sucks to feel, I don't know. I was crying to my partner about it, just literally just crying his arms, and just that feeling you can get when you feel like you failed at something, even as simple as like socializing, even as simple as being yourself and connecting to people. And that feeling of disconnection, it feels like a punishment. And then you wonder like why you're being punished. And it's all a matter of perception, but it's not good. So I understand why I'm feeling so apprehensive and afraid. But I'm gonna work on showing myself that it's worth challenging. and that I can be courageous. I'm going to explore courage. I know I have it in me somewhere. You know? I know I have it in me. It's somewhere. I've had it before, I'll have it again. I'm not quite remembering or realizing what the Judgment card is. Do you know what the Judgment card is? Sometimes I'm like this with cards. Like, sometimes when I read them, I know what they all mean. Like, if you walked up to me on the street and asked me what the Judgment card meant on any other day, I would know. But sometimes when I'm in a reading with myself, it's usually just with myself, and I don't know what a particular card is, it's usually the one that I need to meditate on and, like, find out a little bit more about. Because all the other ones I'm, like, understanding and I'm pretty clear on. The Judgment. Anyway. I've got to go do some stuff now, but I just wanted to check in and start talking because I wanted to. And it's a really lovely day today. I hope you can hear me over the wind. And I hope all the shadow is fine. You can really see every single imperfection in my skin. Oh well, this is what a real person looks like, so that's okay. I do love myself. And all of it. It's not even an imperfection, Annabelle. It's just you. So, I'm gonna go look up the Judgment card, and I'm gonna meditate on it for a sec. And I'm gonna go for a little drive. And do the things that I need to do. Yes. Okay. Check in later. Bye.